From the very beginning, food has been a tool of deception. It was with forbidden fruit that Satan led humanity into sin.
Mass destruction in history is food? Yes, Satan's favorite secret weapon. The very first temptation in the garden was about food. The Israelites, they went to Egypt chasing food and became slaves for 400 years. Satan still uses appetite to trap us, whether it's gluttony, cravings, or unhealthy desires. Why? Because if he can control what you crave, he can control your calling.
He's tempting in those same three ways tonight to you. Appetite, beauty, pride.
The other thing that's very important is to recognize the problem of food. We live in a completely unjust food system.
First of all, what's a GMO? Genetically modified organism. They're swapping individual genes or sequences of genes, pulling it out of one organism's DNA and putting it into another organism's DNA. The process itself creates a lot of problems, and they don't even focus on that.
Bugs, the worms in the soil, all the weeds, and
the good bacteria in the soil.
Good bacteria, it soaks into the plant and it does not wash off. The problem with that is that there's a chemical in it called glyphosate, which destroys our gut bacteria. 70% of our immune system is there. Without that gut bacteria, we can't produce tryptophan. Without tryptophan, our bodies don't produce serotonin. Without serotonin, we can't regulate blood sugar.
The FDA said we don't even need to test this stuff. It's completely safe. You ask the biotech industry, Monsanto on its website, no human tests are necessary, according to the farmers and veterinarians. And when you look at the diseases that have actually gone up since GMOs were introduced, it tells a different story.
The seed of life. If you believe that man, this is called hubris in the ancient Greeks, this is what destroys man, is his arrogance, his belief that he can do things that he is not qualified to do, and the sign of an intelligent man is to know his limits. We have to question what is going on out there, and our silence is complicity. If you stand by and watch a crime happening, you're part of that crime. You're aiding and abetting that crime if you don't do something about it. The hadith says, "As-sukut alamatu ridha." Silence is the sign of contentment. If we found a worm in the apple, he said, I wouldn't eat an apple a worm wouldn't eat. I don't want to eat a tomato that doesn't bruise. You think you're in a science fiction movie. The colors are different. Where are they getting apples like that?
No, this war is much closer than you think. It is on your plate, in your hands, between your teeth. Satan, the enemy of your soul, is cunning beyond measure, and his strategies are far more subtle than we often realize. He does not merely work through immorality, despair, or pride. He also seeks to weaken and control you through the very foods you consume.
The introduction of genetically modified organisms, GMOs, chemical preservatives, and artificial additives has altered the very nature of our food.
Satan has not stopped using food as a weapon. Today, he continues his assault by manipulating what we eat, leading us into addiction, sluggishness, and spiritual dullness. The enemy does not want you to be spiritually strong. He does not want you walking in the power and clarity of God's presence. He wants you burdened, fatigued, and unable to discern his voice. He wants you trapped in unhealthy cravings, enslaved to substances that poison both your body and soul.
So now they give children chicken McNuggets that cause children to have high cholesterol, and now they say children under 3 years of age should be tested, and if they have high cholesterol they should be on cholesterol drugs, which you have to be on for the rest of your lives. They want to make money. Why can't we just give them decent food?
What if this cycle of dependency is a deliberate strategy to keep us controlled, distracted, and disconnected from our true purpose? In the hustle and bustle of modern life, convenience often takes precedence over quality. The food industry capitalizes on this by offering quick, easy, and often unhealthy options that cater to our busy lifestyles. But this convenience comes at a cost. When we opt for processed, fast, and prepackaged foods, we not only compromise our health, but also become more susceptible to manipulation. These foods are often stripped of essential nutrients, leaving us physically weakened, mentally foggy, and spiritually unfulfilled. The use of food as a means of control is not a new concept. It has deep roots in history. Throughout the ages, rulers and governments have manipulated food supplies to maintain power and control over populations. In ancient Rome, the concept of bread and circuses was employed to appease the masses and distract them from political issues. By providing free grain and spectacular entertainment, the Roman emperors kept the populace content and docile, effectively preventing uprisings and unrest. This tactic of controlling the population through food wasn't limited to ancient Rome. It has been a common strategy in times of war and conflict as well. During World War, the Nazis used food rationing to weaken resistance in occupied territories, while the Allies employed food as a weapon of war.
I've quoted the Monsanto person saying, we need farming without farmers, because by getting rid of farmers, we have new markets for surveillance, robotic, and artificial intelligence. Two big assaults that are coming are fake food and fake economics, and fake knowledge, I would add. So the fake knowledge is replacing real intelligence, ecological intelligence, emotional intelligence, cooperative intelligence of communities at work, including the intelligence in the plants, the intelligence in the microbes, the intelligence of the bacteria in our gut. We are super intelligent. Life is intelligence. And they want to say artificial intelligence with some of our narrow programs that are very mechanical, downloaded into a machine, and machine learning is artificial intelligence that will get rid of the farmer on the farm. I mentioned the fake economics of zero budgeting. Look out for it. When you see the term zero budget, be suspicious. It's about externalizing costs. Our studies have shown that farmers in the industrial system, where it's industrialization of production and industrialization of distribution through the Walmarts and the Amazons and the big supermarket chains, the farmers do not receive more than 1 to 4% of the value. And that's the case for coffee too. It's only when they do direct distribution that you can have a chance of a fair price. Fake food is the next big desperate attempt to try and extinguish our movement. That the biggest solution to climate change is not to say, eat bad food and fake food and kill yourself through that, but become part of the healing of the earth by returning organic matter to the soil. We should stop calling ourselves producers of food, because that's a byproduct of something much bigger that we do. We care for the earth. We generate her health. We regenerate the health, social health of our communities through social justice, and the ecological health of each of our children, through making their fundamental right to life real, through the right to good food and real food, which can only come from real farms and real intelligence and real love and real giving.